hated writing as a kid, but with the support of her English teachers, friends, family, Urban Word New York City, and the Inspired Word, she pushed herself to pursue an ever-growing passion in spoken word poetry. In 2006, she made it to the top 15 poets out of 500 teens in the Urban Word NYC Poetry Slam, and has been writing and performing in the New York City and Pennsylvania areas ever since. She recently released her debut album, Unchinkable. Clap it up for Nichole Acosta. Welcome her to the stage.
Anyone who's ever been on a blind date. Ella Fitzgerald once sang, "We've often are told that love is blind, still we're told seek and ye shall find. I've forgotten how to do this, mixing, mingling, sunshiny feeling, getting to know you, getting to know me. Do I trade compliments for kisses and hugs for long gazes? What's the exchange rate for love nowadays? Eyes crazy glued to the hot bodies, coffee filtering out the D-bags, the creeps, the stalkers, the whores, hating yourself for missed connections, stupid should have said something, as the train doors were closing and your heart was opening to new adventures. Proceed with caution, avoid falling into false concrete and real quicksand. Stumble upon chemistry, love wholeheartedly, refurbish your soul, then say hello." Woo. So I went to a pretty much completely white college, and a lot of people there didn't believe certain people belonged there, so I wrote this poem. Trading shoes. The only reason black kids got in is because of affirmative action. They don't really belong here, they don't even matter. They think they can bypass regular standards. Well, what standards are those? Think they're getting ahead of you in class because of skin color codes? No. They work just as hard as you do, possibly harder because of people like you, who set the standards so low they gotta put real work and dignity into raising the bar like a levee and getting over it. But let's not talk about levies because you don't understand the concept of people told to leave with nowhere to go. Now there's an educational institution to go to. When you say they don't really belong here, well maybe you don't belong here because college is about getting out of your comfort zone. So if you feel too uncomfortable, you might as well leave because believe it or not, they're trying to learn here. They're trying to grow here. They're trying to prove that they can succeed. Graduate and make a dream into a reality. But the sad part is you're not even here to hear me because you think any event with the word diversity in it doesn't apply to you. But we wear the same size. Would you like to trade shoes? To love a diabetic. To love a diabetic is to understand she love a diabetic means sticking with her when she sticks her fingers, squeezes blood out, checks her sugar. To love a diabetic means never asking, "Can I get your numbers?" and judging. To love a diabetic means being her sugar freedom when she loses all willpower to step away from the cupcakes. To love a diabetic means embracing the faded constellations of insulin injections across her stomach. To love a diabetic means never letting her know that she can't eat this and can't eat that. To love a diabetic is to understand she will get moodier than most people. You would be too if you spent the entire day on a roller coaster. To love a diabetic means letting her share this disease with you so that you'll never have to share it with her. To love a diabetic means dropping your pussy fear of needles and giving her a shot full of normal again. To love a diabetic is to remind her that Starbucks only has her money in mind, or else they never would have ventied the Frappuccino. Remind her that her life is not a guessing game. She has to carefully count her carbs and not be lazy, because her life depends on it. To love a diabetic is to love myself, because this disease cannot be controlled by anyone else. But if you can commit to loving a diabetic and see her for all she is, maybe, just maybe, I'll love you back.
Here, here.
Betty Brown. If you don't know who she is, she's a judge that told all Asians they need to be a little more American in order to vote. No, we will not change our family names to become the Plain Janes and Betty Browns of America. Our names carry generations of immigrants and American-born Asians who speak different languages and dialects, celebrate different holidays, and eat different foods. Still, we all look the same to you. We will not make our names easier to deal with, because we can't translate ignorance or peel off the cultural identities we've been living in all our lives. What if I asked if it would behoove you and your people to change the color of your eyes? But if I gotta change my name, then you have to change yours too, because that's how they take animals from the wild to the zoo. Woo! For Jamelia. He was heavy-handed and she was heavy-hearted. Life has given her so many lemons and she's still learning how to peel them, how to enjoy any zest left in life. She witnessed the death of her fetus 5 days later, celebrated the birthday of Jesus. I could never imagine standing, let alone walking in her stilettos. Ooh, if they could make tight ropes thinner. Never mind the lion's hammer in ring 1. Lions are easy to tame with food and without fear. The clowns in ring 3 will never make you happy, but this girl on that tightrope is inching toward the finish line without a safety net. The audience blows on her, but she doesn't break. She's not that fragile. The audience blows on her, but she doesn't break. She's not that fragile. She asks me, how can I have faith? And I tell her, they are still blowing, and you still haven't fallen. Thanksgiving. Someone once told me they were trying to say what they were thankful for every day for a month, but it was getting hard to think of things. I told her, think of everyone who has nothing compared to you, and don't just be thankful, but give back. Be thankful that your white privileges have never afforded you the luxury of being the subject of a hate crime, stereotyped assumptions, cold hard racism, homophobia, or the tiger cub phenomenon. Your biggest problem is wondering how you can ask, what are you, more politely. I don't hate you. Your desire to be more cultured and your ignorance is glowing, so I aim to turn your flame down. With the lights off, we are colorless. With the lights on, we are colorful. And although you cannot be a chameleon, you can help cure skin cancer. The kind that dwells in the mind behind the eyes and beautifies Snow White, for being the fairest of them all. How fair was she to her dwarves? Spread your cultural consciousness to others, even if our stories aren't yours. I bet with just one poem, I've given you more than 30 things to be thankful for. This is from my grandfather. His hands cracked and calloused, secret spices trapped under fingernails and story-filled palms. His smile held up by a scaffolding of wrinkles. My grandfather has always been the man of the kitchen, pulling out 10 dishes every night of the week. At 90 years old, he makes it look easy. From stir-fried lobster to stuffed pork loin, to barbecue spare ribs, to oxtail stew, to sweet lemony salmon, to arroz con pollo, to lo mein, to corned beef and cabbage. He's been the ultimate provider, giver, chef. We used to watch Yan Can cook together. Now we watch Hell's Kitchen, and he jokes that HK stands for Hong Kong. I remember the first time he taught me to cook. He said, your mom can't cook shit, so you better learn. I've kept every birthday card he's ever given me, because he must have spent hours choosing exactly what I needed to hear. One year he gave me one in Spanish. How's that for crossing barriers of language? I took it in school and he knew it too. Chinese characters made me confused, and his English was fine, but ooh, how he knew me in every birthday card line. Bridging gaps isn't hard, you just have to want to try. Because if Yan can cook, then so can you. Just start today by trying a new food. poetic intercourse. My lips begin to tingle when you tell me poetry is just a hobby, a creative writing assignment you stumbled upon when you were 11, sculpted when you were 15, a talent you toyed with at 18 amongst the eyes of an audience. You got me twisted like a Twizzler when you tell me poetry is just something you like to do on the side, like a chick a guy's cheating with, she's not quite good enough so she hides. Poetry is just that little bit of cream you like to add to your coffee when you'll feel free enough to drink it. Migrant, penniless coffee bean growers. Poetry is just a dream you put on a page and you thought you were cool enough to wear it, like your Nike's child labor. No. I hate when you tell me poetry is just a hobby. You say just like the world, it'll never really change, we're just a bunch of idealists with tag names. But I tell you I am different and the same, you don't hear me. I tell you I am different and the same, you don't hear me. So I will pick up the mic so that you hear me more clearly. Poetry is the passion I pour into scribbled lines of paper to tell Mother Nature that some of us don't waste her. Poetry is the dream I dreamt about and kept believing in. Poetry keeps me sane. Poetry is powerful and I don't care if I get paid in spare change because I told Mother Nature I wouldn't waste no trees. And to prove to her the real power of words, I built a poetry house for my mind and I live there. I pay light bills with inspiration, so light bulbs flicker on and often. I pay the maintenance no mind because whatever I write will revise itself later and the best writers' workshops are free to fix it if I can't. But can't is not my vocabulary, the same way poetry will never be my hobby, but it will always run through my capillaries. Cut me and the alphabet will pour from my pores. Shoot me and I can guarantee I'll gush more. Poetry is not a fucking hobby, it's everything I live for. Last one. Looks are deceiving. ¿Cómo te llamas? It's the question someone asks when you don't look like you belong, and to that I respond, Nichole Acosta. First day of high school, I was in native language Spanish, whispers of La Gringa. Switched me out because my eyes didn't match my last name, must have been some huge mistake. So they put me into Japanese. The teacher was pleased. Students whispered, ooh, now we can cheat. But I failed my first test and they were surprised. I am not Japanese. Don't be fooled by these eyes. And no, not all Asians are alike. Got switched into regular Spanish and did real well, but still it was hard to tell, so now I'll tell you. Don't look me in the eye and ask me if I know Kung Fu. Yeah. Don't pull your eyes slanted because you're jealous of mine. Why not look into my soul and I'll tell you what you know? Nothing. I am Chirashikan. Chinese, Irish, and Puerto Rican combined. In your mind. Chinese, Irish, and Puerto Rican combined. No, I won't make your pork fried rice. I won't wash your clothes and I definitely won't respond to your ni hao mommy. Because some papis need to learn English before they attempt to speak Chinese. It's about the family dinners, no Americanized takeout and the fight for the bill, the moon festival, the lion dance, the railroad tracks, and good luck money in thousands of dialects. We gotta have pride in our cultures, not the stereotypes. And there's more to being Irish than just being white. So don't ask me about my leprechauns and Lucky Charms and the all-American corned beef and cabbage. How about that potato famine in the Gaelic language? We gotta read up on our history so our culture doesn't disappear. Now open your ears. The coqui chirps in the distance. Move your feet to the rhythms of merengue, bachata, y salsa. La comida sabrosa, la bandera of pride, the taíno that died for Columbus in vain. Mi gente de China, Irlandés, and Puerto Rico have struggled and weathered the pain, but with each generation the traditions remain. So keep pride alive and remember my name, Nichole Acosta.